Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Raymart and I'm the creator behind Crochet's Arrays, which is a small business around crochet plushies or amigurumi. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. I've been very busy lately, so I haven't had a chance to keep up with creating videos here on YouTube. So I have a lot of footage back from May that I have stored and need to get through and just make more videos for you all. The footage here in this video will be all the way back to May 8th and will span all the way through the 18th of May, so that's just around a week. In this video, I'll be doing a lot of crocheting, so there will mostly be a lot of behind the scenes of me working on some crochet projects, and these projects include working on my latest crochet pattern and also working on some pattern tests for some fellow crocheters. So why don't you just sit back, get cozy, maybe grab a crochet project, and just enjoy all these behind the scene clips. Alright, let's get to it. Here I'm working on my newest crochet pattern. At this point, the pattern has already been released and is available on my Etsy and Ko-fi shops, which I'll have linked below in the description. If you've seen all of my shorts here on YouTube, or maybe if you follow me on Instagram, you know that this pattern is for a Macaron sea turtle. In the previous clips, I was finishing up one of the prototype designs I worked on for the pattern. This idea for a Macaron sea turtle came about because I also created a small Macaron pattern back in February called Maru the Macaron. Here's a little snapshot of that pattern. So when I worked on that pattern, I knew I also wanted to pair it up with a design for a sea turtle. I have seen macaron and sea turtle patterns before, but in those patterns, the whole macaron encompasses the shell of the turtle. I wanted to design something different, so I figured why not make it where both pieces of the macaron cookies act as the shell of the turtle, and then the body of the turtle itself would be like the filling of the macaron. I thought this would make a pretty adorable look for a macaron sea turtle, and I hope this would be different enough from similar pattern ideas. Okay, now we're taking a break from working on that Macaron sea turtle pattern and getting started with the first pattern test I work on in this video. I intended to wait until I finish crocheting this project in the video before saying what the pattern is. But what I can say now is that this pattern is by the amazing crochet designer Caitlin, or BardicTrinkets over on Instagram. I'll have her Instagram handle up on the screen. Also, at the time of this video, the video has already been released and is available on Etsy, so I'll have the pattern linked in the description down below. I guess if you want a spoiler on what the pattern is, you can head into the description and click on the link. Or you could just continue watching and wait to see what it is in a bit. While I was crocheting here, I was also watching men's college volleyball. If you enjoy volleyball like me and was following along with the NCAA, you may be familiar that the University of Hawaii and UC Irvine are competing for the national championship title. You all should know that I'm from Hawaii, so it's kind of obvious who I may have been rooting for. Spoiler alert though, UH won the game, so it was very exciting to see them win the title this year. Since I was watching the game, I was getting a little distracted at times and slowed down from crocheting so that I could watch all of the action. But despite all that, I tried to stay focused and finish as much as I could. Okay, back to working on the Macaron sea turtle pattern. Here, I was still in the process of making adjustments to my pattern. The last remaining part I was working on was the head of the turtle. It took me some time to finally come to a shape that I enjoyed and I thought worked well for this pattern. I did a good amount of frogging and going back and forth with ideas, but I eventually settled on how I shaped the nose or snout portion of the head. And then the rest of the head was pretty much similar to the previous prototype, where I would expand the head out a bit to make it slightly rounded and elongated. After the head was finished, I continued to work up the body. If I didn't already mention it before, the pattern is loso, where the fins and tail of the turtle are crocheted as part of the body and the only part that is sewn on is the head. I know sewing parts on is not always the most favorable thing, but I thought sewing the head on really achieved the general design that I wanted. Now let's get back to working on my pattern test for Caitlin. Off camera, I finished crocheting all of the parts for this project, and all that was left was sewing everything together. I started off with sewing this white belly piece onto the body. Oh, and if you notice the eyes, I made them out of felt and glued them on because I was too lazy to actually sew them on. After finishing the belly, next was sewing on the 2 feet near the front of the body. The pattern mentions to have them to the side of the white belly and slightly angle them. Once the feet were done, I moved on to sewing the 2 arms and then the ears. I think the ears are one of my favorite parts of this pattern. They are very well designed and really resemble the actual ears of this character. But here is my finished plushie, and if you couldn't already tell, this pattern was for the electric mouse Raichu! I really enjoyed working on this pattern, and Caitlin did such a great job with this. Be sure to check out all of her work and her patterns. Okay, let's continue working on pattern designing the Macaron sea turtle, and hopefully I can finish it up. Sorry for going back and forth so many times between the pattern designing and also pattern testing. So here I am starting to work up the bottom Macaron shell on the body. The yarn I am using is Big Twist Baby Bear in the colors Toffee and Sage. If you love these colors or have any other ideas for color combinations, please let me know in the comments. I would love to get some suggestions on different colors of Macaron sea turtles I can make. Here I'm showing off the body after finishing the bottom Macaron shell. What do you all think? Now all that is left to sew on is the head, so let's get started on that. Sewing on pieces for crochet projects is definitely not my strongest skill, especially if it's sewing on a head to a body. I always have so much trouble with trying to get things into place and making sure everything looks even and straight. One tip that I have learned is using knitting needles or amigurumi sticks to help keep your piece in place while you sew them on. So here I'm doing that and using some sewing needles that I have to hold them in place. Like I mentioned, this pattern is already available, so go check out all the links in the description and get the pattern for yourself. I also ran a pattern test for this pattern over on my Instagram, so be sure to check out all the adorable and amazing Macaron sea turtles that my testers made. Next up, I am working on another pattern test. This pattern is by a designer that is also named Caitlin, and she goes by Loop and Leaf over on Instagram. I'll have her Instagram handle on the screen now. This pattern is for a collection of some adorable mini summer themed plushies. The idea behind this pattern was some mini items that could be used as prizes for a claw machine game at markets. The pattern includes instructions to make an ice cream cone, a popsicle, a mini sun, and a mini hermit crab. I'll show a picture of my finished pieces on the screen, but I'll also link the pattern down below in the description as well so that you can go and get the pattern too and make these for yourself. All of the items are so quick to make and they're also so adorable. The different colors you can make for each mini plushie are endless. Each mini item probably takes about 10 to 20 minutes to make, but I tend to crochet on the slower side, so it might take me a couple minutes longer than others to finish something like this. And that's it for this video. This was pretty much all in a week of me crocheting all these different projects. I can't thank you again for being here and supporting me and my channel. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!